All right. Hello, hello. I don't see anyone yet, so I'll just give it a couple minutes and see if anyone can pop on. And if anyone is here, please go ahead and drop a comment and I will see if I can see it, hopefully. And I know there's like a swipe trick, so I will definitely try to give that a go as well. Let me see if I can tag people to come on in. Oops. Okay, I see my comment, so hopefully that works. Hi, Christy. If you don't mind, can you drop a comment and see if I'm able to get comments before I get started? Hope you're doing good today. Let me try the little swipey thing. Swipe left. It says swipe left, but oh, there it goes. Okay, it worked. Awesome. What a great trick. Hi, Angel. Welcome in. Hi, Tammy. Yay, I have comments. It's all working. This is amazing. Okay, cool. Facebook's working for me today. It's a miracle. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Lionsgate, and I've got my notes, so I will just kind of read off of these. If you have questions, drop them in the chat. And then I thought it would be fun to do like a little sound meditation at the end. And I'm certainly no professional, so I'm just gonna kind of wing it. But I think it'll be fun. So let's talk about Lionsgate. I guess firstly, have you heard of Lionsgate? Do you know what it is? What do you think about it? So if you have anything you wanna share, just kind of right off the bat, that would be great. And also for anyone watching on the replay, definitely add your comments as well. So first question is, what do you know about Lionsgate, just off the bat, if you know anything? And if you don't, that is fine too. Get a minute to see if any comments come in. All right, well, those are coming in. I'll just go ahead and explain a little bit. So Lionsgate is said to be a portal. So it's called like Lionsgate Portal. And it's said to be a time when you can receive cosmic downloads and access all of this manifestation magic. It's very trendy, especially where I live in Los Angeles area. It's very trendy among like yoga studios and new age circles. It's very big in the new age movement. And everybody's all talking about Lionsgate. There's tons of events for Lionsgate and all kinds of things like that. But it's very controversial in a lot of ways because it's essentially made up. So the new age practitioners made it up maybe like 10, 20 years ago, and it's gained a lot of popularity. It does have ancient roots, so we'll talk about that and what some of the kind of more legit parts about it are. But like anything, right, there's kind of two sides. Something that is kind of made up and gets a lot of people behind it, it kind of creates an egregore. So there is a lot of energy that has come together on Lionsgate, but I think a lot of people think it's something that it isn't, and we'll talk about that today. It's up to you to decide like what you think about it and how you want to work with it, if you want to at all. So one thing that I think about a lot is, this portal where you can get all these downloads and access all this manifestation magic. It sounds really nice, right? It's something that is going to attract a lot of people. If people are newer to a practice or at a yoga studio where they do some kind of like, bits of magic and manifestation and things like that. It's a really great way to kind of put a little bit of a holiday pressure on it and encourage you to spend more. So I definitely see that, right? And I see that in my area for sure. It's like everything, like a Lionsgate sound bath is a little bit more than the regular one. Because they have limited space and people want to buy into it, and it's kind of like Christmas, right? You can sort of justify spending more because you have this like holiday there. So it is a little bit fabricated. And personally, I think that's something to keep in mind as you work with it. I do work with it myself, and we'll talk about kind of the what it is. So you'll hear a lot of people talk about either a Leo or a Sirius, and Sirius is a star, it's Sirius, or a Sun and Sirius alignment. And that doesn't really exist, first of all. So when the sun aligns with Leo, it's called Leo season. It's the Leo time period. And that's just like any other zodiac season, whether it's Virgo or Scorpio or whatever, right? Like each of them has a season. It's not a Lionsgate portal just because we're in Leo season. And Sirius doesn't exactly align to the sun either. The sun moves, things are orbiting all the time, and it's in that kind of general area, but it's not like a really true alignment. So it's more about the sun appearing in Leo, where all of this happens, and it's pulling the Leo and the sun energy into the mix. So that's kind of what it's about. Like the lion aspect is Leo season, and then having this other stuff that's happening. So I'll talk about that in a second, but let's talk about what it is. So it kind of starts, and I tried looking this up. I don't know why it starts or ends on certain days. I think that it is probably just because it's kind of in the middle of Leo season, and the time most aligned to like the peak part of Leo season. But generally it starts on July 26th, and you'll see like a couple date changes in various places, but most that I found were July 26th, with the peak on August 8th, which is today. So 8/8 is like the big numerology behind it, and it ends on August 12th. So today is the peak. So if you haven't heard of it, you can still take advantage. Today's the peak, and you've got, a few more days of like this big window. So what is real about it? Or no, I shouldn't say real, but what is significant astrologically and within history? So I talked a little bit about the historical significance of it. And so that's where I find that it is very magically significant. So we'll focus a little bit more on that today. So the star Sirius lines up with 3 stars in Orion's belt. And those stars are Alnitak, Alnitak, Al-Nilam, Alnilam, and Mintaka, Mintaka. So those are the 3 stars that you see in Orion's belt. And the pyramids in Egypt were actually built under them intentionally. Sirius is believed to be the spiritual sun, and the ancient Egyptians associated Sirius with the constellation Orion with Osiris. So that is where a lot of this comes from, with kind of this portal and all of that aspect. So Osiris is the god of the afterlife and resurrection within the Egyptian mythologies. And the connection is further strengthened that the idea of the pyramids were tombs and monuments to the pharaohs that were linked to the celestial realm in Osiris. So that's kind of the big aspect of this, where it does have this like historical ancient and star alignment with the Sirius and the Orion belt. So that's the main significance of it. And then it is in Leo season. So why is it in Leo season? Is it just about 8/8 and that kind of like angel number type of thing, or is there more? So I think it's both. I think the 8/8 definitely has a lot of significance and why people wanted to align it on that day. But also the Nile floods at the peak in August. So the flooding is generally from June through September every year. And then the peak flooding time is through August. And if you don't know too much about the Nile flooding, the gist of it is that Egypt is in a desert, complete desert area. And when the Nile floods, it brings all of the water through all the land. And that's basically how they did like their agriculture. So that's how they got the water. I don't know too much about it, but I know they had like different reservoirs and different systems and things like that to capture the water and then use flood irrigation for their crops all the year. So that's very significant within their culture, because without the Nile flooding, they would not be able to exist. And so that, of course, is something that they're going to work with the land and with their mythology and connecting up to the stars, which is why they built, the pyramids where they did. So that is a little bit about it. I'm going to check the comments and see where we're at. All right, so most people don't know too much about it, and that's great. I'm glad I can teach you. And yeah, the Leo season makes sense for being called Lionsgate, exactly. Hi, Susan. Hi, Jody. Yes, it made the land super fertile. And I think it was even like a black sand or black dirt or something too. Just trying to find that in the archives of my brain, so don't quote me on that. But I do know it's very fertile and, very advanced to do that. Very advanced civilization to make all that happen and live in the desert that way. So this year, there's a lot going on astrologically during this time. So tomorrow is the full moon. The full moon is in Aquarius. And it's not always that the full moon aligns so closely with the 8/8 date, but it is this year. So all of the full moon energy is really intensifying a lot of this. And we have a lot of retrogrades. It's retrograde season, and Pluto, Neptune, Saturn, and Mercury are all retrograde right now. So that's a lot of retrograde energy kind of coming our way. And then Chiron also went retrograde. So Chiron just went retrograde on July 30th, and Chiron is the wounded healer. So this is pretty significant as well, because we're all wounded healers. We all have a Chiron in our chart. So we all have this aspect in our lives to some degree. And with it in retrograde, it is reminding us that we need to heal on our soul's mission. So you want to think about the shift in how you relate and heal with your body. And as like the kind of idea of this time is that the portal is giving you a lot of downloads. So I somewhat buy into this personally. And again, please do whatever feels right for you. I think that the planets always influence us. So when there's a lot going on, that makes it happen. And I do think that there is significance to this time. And as you're getting like a lot of this energy coming from the planets and the stars, it does affect us, right? And thinking about this, you want to think about going through like mental and emotional healing, really trying to have healthy food and water during this time period, getting a lot of sleep, and really thinking about and evaluating your relationship with yourself and your relationship with the world, and making sure that you have a healthy perception with that. And for areas where, we all have areas we struggle with this stuff. And so looking at, where you maybe did learn some negative perceptions and bad habits, and trying to work through that during this time. So I know I personally have been experiencing this pretty heavy this year. There's a lot going on in my personal life that makes that time more. I think in times of stress, we tend to have a lot more of profound, psychic activity and things like that. But in years past, this time of year, I have personally gotten a lot of insight. So let me know, do you feel that right now? Do you feel like the veil is thin? Some ways you can tell is really having a lot of profound psychic downloads, just that kind of knowingness or new information, having a lot of heightened spiritual activity, and maybe having some telepathy. Your clairs are really like whichever clairs you gravitate to are just at a heightened sense. Dreams may be very vivid and very profound right now. And you'll likely notice a lot more synchronicity happening really all over and within your life. So let me know, are you seeing a lot of that right now, or is it about the same as it always is? Tammy says that she's definitely having an increase in clair abilities. Yeah, cool. So during this time, you actually want to really pay attention to all of that because it's important for you to align to your path. With all these planets in retrograde and with these things that are happening right now and which things are corresponded and all of that, you can go find from like any astrologer on YouTube. They'll be talking about it. They're a lot better equipped than I am to be able to explain the nuance. But from the basic level, there is just a lot in retrograde and there's a lot of negative energy coming at us. And those energies are really around destruction. It's a time of destruction, and it's a time for us as individuals to strengthen up. So a lot of people are talking about timeline shifts, world shifts, and yeah, it's a good time to see that. I mean, we see that with the world all around us, right? Whatever, even if you're on your like highest path and you're really doing well and you're thriving right now, I'm sure you can look at the news, you can look at anything going on, just people around you, and you can see that there's a big split in society and in the world, just really worldwide on a lot of things. And of course that affects all of us. We're all part of the same world. We're all connected in that way. And let's see where I go in my my notes. Okay, so this is a time really to strengthen ourselves and heal, and that way we can align to our path. So you do want to reflect on the past and evolve stronger than you ever were before. This is a time when we really want to look at duality with dark and light energies that are intensifying and rising at this time. This is the planets. The planets are making this happen. And you have the capacity to choose your own path and use the duality to weave your own magic. That duality and that difference, as we know from a lot of the things that we study and learn about, right, is really kind of how we can carve out our own magic. So let's talk a little bit about the numerology. So number 8 is about rediscovering your new beginning and all of the limitless possibilities that you have from that. So if you're thinking about this time as a time where you can kind of rekindle, like recalibrate your life and move forward on your path, know that you have limitless possibilities. And that's really defined with that number 8. If you think about the number 8 and you turn it sideways, it's an infinity symbol. And that is a sign that you do have those infinite possibilities moving forward. And it's up to you to really decide how you want to move forward and build your life. And so the energies really support that right now. That sign like of 8, it also looks like a DNA helix. And so with Chiron, retrograde's a good time to really reevaluate and see like where you might be having some of this wounding, and then take advantage of this essential portal, right, and the energy coming through that to help you heal, and especially on like a cellular level. And remember that healing is not straightforward, right? It really has a lot of you can have a lot of pain involved with healing and a lot of negativity involved in healing. It's a process, so it goes up and down. But oftentimes, as you work through different things, it gets better with time, right? So use that and receive the insights that you need at this time so that you can make the actions align to healing yourself. So it is a really big time to be able to manifest. So I think when a lot of these places are like, oh, you can manifest everything, a lot of marketing goes behind like manifesting personal gain and wealth and happiness, like all of these things. And I don't think the portal really aligns to that. I think that this time the manifestation is really on your internal being. It's about you manifesting what you need for you, for your path, and to heal, and deciding like what direction, what path you want to be on in this life. And it's about our own evolutionary process. So some things that you can ask yourself are, why are you here? What is your individual path? What is part of your alignment that you need to reveal and realign? And how can you evolve? So those are some questions that I think are really good during this time. And then of course, looking at how you can heal. And, you know, just, I think I jumped ahead on my notes, but just remember that it's a process, right? Like being able to heal. I think a lot about the world card and how you move forward kind of through the portal. It's the last card in the deck. You have the wreath, and it looks like someone's kind of being birthed out of the wreath, right? It's supposed to look a little bit like a vagina, and she goes right out. Like that's what the tarot card is looking like, right? So anytime that we're rebirthing, you know, birth is a painful process, but it's a beautiful process, and being able to go through all of that. So think about how you can move through those areas and see, you know, where you're going and how you want to align. This is also, you know, really a theme for our entire lifetime is this is a change in astrological ages. So we're moving from the Pisces age to the Aquarian age. Some will say we're like pretty much in the Aquarian age now. I don't think anyone really agrees on like an exact date, but the shift is like 200-ish years. So we will be in the shift our entire life, right? And the shift is really a lot. Like the birthing process is a lot, and it's painful, and like those are the things we see. So as we're going through and we're entering this new timeline, this is something we'll probably have to revisit, you know, every year, but this year especially has a lot of planetary, like it has a lot of extra on it this year. So it's really about going through that process and deciding how you want to move forward in this path. And you do, of course, you know, see this really on a large scale in the world around us, but also we just look at how we affect our personal life, right? And then that connects to kind of the greater world. Let's see, I got through all of that. Okay, so then think about this time as a multi-dimensional upgrade. So you've been supported and guided through the stars, and you get to enter through this portal. And that's kind of the idea. The portal is also like the world card, right? So that's kind of how I relate the portal aspect to it, is through the tarot. But however that works for your practice is what I would recommend that you do. So let me check the questions again. Patient says she feels the need to reach out to a friend and did, and she needed to talk about something devastating. She never just throw deep stuff out of nowhere, and continue to reach out when you think of someone. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. You know, being there for people going through things is always really good. And Jody is saying she wishes it was straightforward. I wish that too. Yeah, but it's not. Okay, so things that you can do is meditate, promote healing, set intentions aligned to your highest path and not for material gain. Pay attention and observe what is happening around you. Align the male and female energies to create. So some will say, you know, the sun typically is like a masculine energy, and then the Sirius star is like the feminine energy. So as these things are like aligned, when you align the masculine and feminine energy is kind of how you create something, right? And so thinking about bringing those energies together, and that way you can create, you know, what you want to manifest. All right. So I'm going to try to do a little bit of a sound meditation, and I'll kind of just show you what I'm going to use, and I'll try to turn the camera around and then try to do it, assuming everything works. So I have a tarot card to bring some of the energy. This is from the Wild Unknown deck, and it is the Strength card. So of course it has the lion, and it has the sun, and it has the light and dark aspects that we talk about, and it has the infinity symbol on here. So I felt like this was a really good representation, and wanted to bring that. I do have this incense burner. So this one, it has like lions on it, And this is one I got in antique shop because I always love bringing in kind of like old antique stuff into my practice. And I have my incense in here, which I will be burning in a minute, and that for the sound healing. And my little spoon out. So I will be using a blend, and I can't remember what is in here. I made it a while ago, but this is like an alchemical blend that I made. It has a lot of like gold kind of colors in it and such, so I will have that. I also have an incense of the Nile Temple blend, so I will add that as well. Kind of connect back to the Egyptian roots. And this is a different incense, a little bit of protection. I will add that in. And this actually Ronette gifted me. She made it for me and surprised me. And it was from, I think, Ava's Live. So I love that we're bringing in energy from Unseen. And I do have a Sphinx here. So the Sphinx has a lot of lion energy too. And of course that's my clan, so yay Sphinx. But I'm bringing this in to connect, of course, to like that Egypt side. It has a candle, so I'll be lighting that. And yeah, it's the mysteries and things like that. So it's really kind of up to you to decide how that works in. And a few crystals. So I have like a really large citrine piece. I use this with a lot of my craft. It's quite well loved at this point. So bringing citrine in, and this pyramid, it was gifted to me by Crystal. And this is a golden healer that I also bought from Crystal. I bought that from her shop. It's a really nice one. So that's what I have. I will be using, I have like a sound bowl that I'll be using. I apologize for those that don't like bells, but I have a bunch of bells that I will be bringing in. So I apologize. You might want to jump out now if you don't like bells. And what's called a shruti box. So that will be kind of the main sound that you hear throughout. So let me turn this around. Let me double check for any. Yes, definitely assume a lot of people are having issues. I think that's a good point right now. Okay, thank you. So let me turn this around. I figure out how to, sorry if I make y'all sick for a second. Okay, try to figure out how to get this in here. Hold on. You know, they don't make these things easy. Sorry, y'all. Probably like, let me throw up. It's motion sickness. Okay, sorry everyone. I am just gonna give people a few minutes to come in, get things kind of moving. Sorry about that. I tried my best. Hi, Christy, welcome. I tried my best, but my phone decided to turn off. These stands are awful, I hate them. But we are back. Just get kind of everything set up. The smoky charcoal. I know. You know what? Actually, the technology was fine. It was my phone stand, which, you know, it's technology in its own way. All right, just getting everything started. Hopefully you can see okay. I don't want to mess with it because we saw what happened. But I'll try to turn this in a little better angle. Yeah, it is great when it works, but it has its own opinions. Thank you. I appreciate that. Should probably open the window before I smoke up my house, but I'm gonna do that. All right, so feel free to watch the screen or sit back and close your eyes. And I will do my best with sound healing. I do it a little bit for myself and like, you know, close friends and things, but I'm certainly no professional. So I'll do my best. All right. right, welcome back. Open your eyes. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'm glad that you were able to find this live again, and I apologize for it splitting like that, but I guess that's kind of, I was thinking as I was doing the sound, I was like, you know what, that's kind of like part of what's going on, right? The planets. I was laughing a little as I was doing that, but welcome back. I hope you had some really good insight. That was one of the insights I had. You're welcome to share if you had any insights, and you're welcome to keep them private. It's up to you. And I hope that you found a little bit of peace and solace. And as you are continuing on through the rest of Lionsgate and after, think about those planetary energies we talked about and how you can align those to the work that you want to do and to your path, and continue on and heal and work through it all. So I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about Lionsgate and also a little bit of sound healing. I'm definitely open to feedback because it's my first time trying to broadcast it out like that. I'm still getting the hang of it, I think, but hopefully you enjoyed it. Awesome. I'm glad that you felt the energy, Jody. And Christy, I'm glad that you found it peaceful. That makes me very happy. Thank you. All right. Well, I hope you all have a great day, and thank you so much for tuning in. Bye.